Carrying the load is presented by the Chevy Silverado. Belichick has won more Super Bowls than any coach, but he's also entering uncharted territory. 13 coaches in NFL history have won multiple Super Bowls. Belichick and Tom Coughlin are the only two to win a title after the age of 57. Shula, Noel, Belichick's mentor, Bill Parcells, they were all done winning titles in their 40s. Let's roll, presented by Town Fair Tire. Put another way, Mike Holley, no coach in NFL history has really done anything after the age of 70. Why is Bill Belichick going to be any different?
Because he's different than the other guys. He's already done it. I mean, I heard you talk about this, and you almost trapped yourself today. You did trap yourself. You gave everybody the answer today when you said, hey, well, Bill Parcells was done at, 65, and Don Shula was done at 65, and and Chuck Noll was done at 59. Yeah, and Bill Belichick was winning a Super Bowl at 66. So that just tells you right there, these guys were done, and he was still winning championships. And the other thing is, he's better than those guys. It's the bottom line. He's better than them. I bet you didn't know this. Don Shula, when he finished coaching, he was 65. He was 22 years removed from his last Super Bowl when he finished coaching. Tom Landry was 12 years removed from his last Super Bowl title when he finished coaching. And so now you're talking about, and Robert Kraft, this is going to blow your mind, it's a 4-year Super Bowl drought for Bill Belichick. Like, this is how it goes. This is how it goes. NFL history, even we're talking about the greatest of the greats, Mike, the VIP crowd, they had long gaps between winning Super Bowl titles, and Bill Belichick really hasn't had that.
You don't separate the Tom Brady thing? He was doing that with Tom Brady.
Okay. So let me tell you.
Tom Landry went that gap without Super Bowls. He also went to 2 consecutive NFC Championship games with Danny White. To me, that's almost harder to do than winning a Super Bowl with Tom Brady.
Danny White was pretty good. He was pretty good. And he could punt, too. But look, those guys, most of those guys did the job without the salary cap era, too. So we're really talking about 2 different eras. But you're also talking about 2 different arguments. Because if you're saying Bill Belichick made a mistake by letting Tom Brady go, and he's got a lot to prove without Tom Brady, I agree with you. I don't think he should have let Tom Brady go either. But there's a Tom Brady argument and an age argument. In other words, if Tom Brady were here, you wouldn't be talking about Bill Belichick's age, whether he's 50, 60, or 70. Your problem is he's 70 without Tom Brady. But if he's got Tom Brady, he can coach till he's 80, right?
My problem is that I don't feel good about the future because he won a Super Bowl in 2018. I'm judging him on what he has done the last couple of years, what his personnel work has been the last couple of years, what his staff looks like over the last couple of years, what his football team looks like.
But is that age-related?
Over the last couple of years, why not? Why wouldn't it be?
Okay, it could be many things. It could be just poor decision-making.
Mike,
you can make poor decisions. You can make poor decisions in your 50s. You can make poor decisions in your 40s. So I don't know if drafting to kill Harry in the first round, is that age-related, or is that just the Patriots don't draft wide receivers well, and they didn't draft wide receivers well when Bill Belichick was 48 years old?
Yeah, Mike, the first day of free agency 3 years ago, you know where Bill Belichick was? Where was he?
I think he was on a boat. Was he on a boat?
He was on a raft in Barbados, okay? Yeah. And it's like, there's no way he would have done that 20 years ago. This is human nature, all right? So he is not putting the hours into the job that he used to. I'm still think he's working very hard.
You call him a slug.
It's a hard-working job, but he's not. Where do you think he is this weekend?
Nantucket, I don't know.
The draft's in 3 weeks. You think he's burning the midnight oil like he used to? Of course he's not, okay? So that happens the older that you get. Also, look at how he manages his staff. This is the classic case of a CEO who's been on the job too long, who's now calling in favors, friends, kids of friends, that whole thing. Look at what he's surrounding himself by, Mike.
But we're talking about, you're going around the clock, going around a dial with Bill Belichick. I thought your problem was that he was 70. So your problem, it doesn't sound like your problem is his age.
Well, I think
you've got a problem with his personnel decisions, letting Tom Brady go. You got a problem with his work ethic.
I think it's related to how long he's been on the job and his age. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, yes, of course. It's all tied in. I don't know why we can't look at his age. If we can,
look at it. But I'm telling you, but you can look at his age, but his age is not relevant based on the comparisons that you have there.
Of course,
no, it's not. Look, I told you, Chuck Noll. If Chuck Noll was fired at 59 and he had a streak there, we want to talk about mailing it in. He had a streak where 5 out of 7 years they missed the playoffs. Bill Parcells was On again, off again, retired to 65. Bill Belichick won after that. Tom Landry, I already gave you the stats on these guys.
Mike, all these guys, I've looked at all their one-loss records. They were all pretty much over 500 after they won their last Super Bowl, and they still all got pushed out. They were still winning coaches, but barely.
They were not. Listen, I remember, and you probably remember this too. We were around the same age.
Landry's last year was 3-13, but before that, he was winning games, Mike.
Some. I do remember, and this just must have been like late 80s, early 90s, Sports Illustrated cover, iconic cover. You can find it. 1, 2, 3, all of them. It was Chuck Noll, Tom Landry, and Don Shula on the cover, and the question above was, has a game passed them by? That was like in 1989, 1990. Well, it must have been before that because Landry.
So what's your point, Mike?
But my point is, they were being called out. This is 6 years before Shula was fired. A national magazine was saying, has a game passed him by? But 4 years ago, this guy won a championship, and you weren't saying that. If Tom Brady were here, you wouldn't be saying this.
Because Brady would be winning in games and covering up for him like he was 4 years ago.
So your problem, Mike, is that Tom Brady's not here. And join the club. Yes, I want Tom Brady to be here too. But, he's not walking through the door. That ship has sailed. The other thing about George Halas, get George Halas off the list. Why? You're talking about 70. George Halas in his 50s and 60s had 10 straight years where he didn't make the playoffs.
Mike, here's what I think.
So this is not an age thing.
It's definitely partly an age thing, and here's what I think. We'll see what happens going forward. If Bill turns it around, has a good year, and the arrow points up after this year, I'll take it back. I'm good like that.
Okay, you take it back.
I have no problem doing that. But listen, let me finish. Jesus.
Go ahead. Don't pause it. They had a dramatic pregnant pause. It was like you were 10 months pregnant on the pause. Go ahead.
I think we're in the middle of just playing out the string with another old coach who the game has passed him by. That's what I think. Get back to me at the end of the year. Get back to me at the end of 2 years. I think we are playing out the string like the Dolphins played out the string with Shula, and the Cowboys played out the string with Landry, and the Steelers played out the string with Noll. They still won some games. They were over 500 mostly. Few playoff appearances here, but it wasn't special. They weren't ahead of the curve.
Oh, my God.
They were behind the curve, and this is what we're doing. And in 1 or 2 years,
oh my God,
it'll be over, and you'll see that that's what it was.
Could you stop comparing? It's
and
not
if
a good
wrong,
comp.
I'm wrong. Hey,
it's not a good comp to those guys.
Well, then,
it's not a good comp.
Then it's a bad comp. I'm telling you what I think.
It is. No, I'm talking about, you can say
we are playing out the string with a guy the game has passed him by.
That's your opinion. You can say that. But I'm saying, if you feel that way, go ahead. But I'm telling you that you can't make that case with Don Shula and Chuck Noll and Bill Parcells.
I just did.
I know you did, but it's wrong. It's wrong. The numbers don't back you up.
Heavily researched and well done.
I'm heavily researched, right? I'm looking at the same information that you have. I don't know what you're looking at.
Well, I don't know what I'm supposed to compare it to then.
The facts. I mean, if a guy goes 22 years, Mike, without winning a championship, the game did pass him by. Don Shula I'm talking about. He wins the championship at 43. He retires at 65. Nothing. Like, if you have that with Bill Belichick, if you got another 3 or 4 years, they don't make the playoffs, they're not title contenders, yeah, sure, maybe you got a case, but you're comparing him to people that he's already surpassed.
Well, that's what I'm telling you. Get back to me in a couple of years, and we'll see where we're at.
I will. And you know what, by the way, I would do the same. I would defend you, too. If somebody said you were washed up and old, not a good talk show host, I would say, no, yes, he is. I would defend you.